I've told this story before, but I want you to hear this again because it's so important to our family and to the way we live and to how we have taken this idea and driven it into the DNA of our family. When Jody and I were talking about having kids, the prime driving question was, how do we get the gospel into the DNA of our family? So that everything is touched, stained. Everything is saturated and steeped in the gospel. And most parents operate on a keep the rules, be blessed. Keep the rules, everything will go well for you. Break the rules, be punished. So most parents and most parenting manuals are driven by law. Do well, goes well. Do bad, be punished. It's driven by fear and judgment. That's how most parenting is driven. So the kid quickly learns, right, if I do these things, then I'm going to get rewarded. And so I do these things. What's motivating that at that point? Reward, not love. It's not even real obedience. It's selfishness. That's what that is. It's just selfishness. So the kid, all you've done is trained your kid to be selfish. If I do these things, I'm going to get rewarded. Yeehaw. If I don't do these things, or if I do these things, I'm going to get punished. What's motivating that behavior? Fear. That's it. And so what you've done is you've raised your kid to be selfish. You've raised your kid with a paradigm of reward or fear. I get rewarded by being good, and I avoid punishment by not doing bad. The entire operating principle of that parenting style is selfishness. The kid is acting in their own self-interest, and that's all. It's got nothing to do with you. That's what law does. When you hang on to law, that's what ultimately motivates you. I did good, aren't I a good boy? No, you were self-righteous. That's all it is. I did good. Look at me. I'm wearing a nice clean shirt today. Aren't I a good boy? Oh, it's got a couple of things on it. Yeah. Mostly good. Aren't I a good boy? No, you're self-righteous. You're a self-righteous punk. That's what you are. Well, I avoided doing all those bad things. Aren't I a good boy? No. No. You were just too afraid to get judged. You were just afraid of the punishment. And so you were motivated by fear. Selfishness. You see, that's what law does. It produces self-righteous people and people who are fearful of judgment. And people who are self-righteous like to gloat about their own self-righteousness. And people who are fearful won't do anything because they're too afraid of getting judged. There is no freedom in either of those things. That's how so much parenting works. That's how so many churches work, because they're still clinging to the law of Moses, and that's all it will ever do. It produces people who draw near to you with their lips or their actions, but their hearts are far from you. Only love can bind hearts together. Only love binds hearts together. And so when we started talking about raising our children, we talked about how we get the gospel at the very DNA of our family. And it was a very simple formula, very simple phrase. In our family, there's a belonging statement. By definition, you belong to our family. In our family, we show each other how we love each other by the way we treat each other. We show each other because everything you do communicates. Everything you do or don't do, as the case may be, communicates something. You're always communicating. Always. Everything you do communicates. We show each other how much we love each other by the way we treat each other. We do that by listening, being helpful, being kind. Very simple. Is it the behavior that drives it? No, that's the fruit. It's the outcome at the other end. It's the love that drives it. We want to communicate our love for each other by the way we live. It's the love of God that constrains me, Paul says. It's the love we have in a family that constrains our behavior towards each other. It determines how we behave, and therefore the outcomes that you see. The fruit of the behavior, the outworking, the outside of the cup is driven by what's inside of the cup. And what's inside of the cup has got to be love. If it's anything else, you've created an idol, and it will ultimately either be self-righteousness or fear.